Now, Nigeria is currently witnessing a drastic drop in girl child education, according to recent reports. Many factors, including poverty, cultural norms, and lack of access to quality education, are contributing to this decline. This alarming trend poses a threat to the future of these girls and the nation as a whole. It is crucial that stakeholders collaborate to address this issue by implementing target interventions, promoting gender equality, and preventing equal opportunities for education. And of course, discuss further is an educator, Ikechi Nwogo. Thank you so much for your time, Ikechi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get straight to it. How would you describe the current challenges and barriers that girls in Nigeria face when it comes to accessing quality education?
Well, I think I'll start with the component of social discrimination. There are still some cultures, some environments where it is assumed that education is the exclusive preserve of the male child. The girl is just no better than a figure for the kitchen. So why should I invest money training my daughter when eventually she'll belong to some man who will recline her to the kitchen? But that has held sway for a long time in several communities, and it has stood to hamper girl child education. That is not also to forget about the case of insecurity. We're still waiting for the cheaper girls and all of that. So yeah, a lot of parents, a lot of fathers, in those environments would feel a little slowed towards enrolling their girl children in school. And yeah, irrespective of her gifting, irrespective of how smart she is, irrespective of how competitive she is, that has been a major setback in communities around Nigeria, especially in the northern parts of Nigeria. And some sports could be traced in the south as well. Whole communities where you could count on one, two, three girls alone who have been able to pull through, maybe because of the liberal states of their fathers, thinking, yeah, you're a girl child, you should have a future.
I would like to stay with you on the issue you've raised, talking about stereotypical cultural norms and also maybe religion and societal, attitudes towards this particular issue. Would you like to elaborate more, particularly as regards rural areas, right? Who feel that the place of a woman is mostly in housekeeping and, of course, raising of kids. And for them, spending money to educate the girl child who eventually probably will be married off might just be a waste of resources. Can you just elaborate, if at all, there is a shift from this particular norm, or we are still static, particularly in rural areas?
Yeah, these are principally peasant communities. I like to say that the peasant thinking is a mindset. It's not really a reality, and then people should get to upgrade their thinking from those archaic methods and styles. Now, you have communities where, like in the riverine areas, especially in the south, you have communities where the woman is expected to probably tie the child at her back and then paddle the canoe. She goes look out for the fishing pots, to see if there's catch. She's expected to provide fish and come cook. What's the husband doing? He's probably just sitting down over some bottles of alcoholic beverages and bantering away life with his friends. So it's the responsibility of the woman to tend the family, to fend for the family, to provide bread for the family, while the man is just a chieftain because he married his woman. So in that kind of environment, okay, it's a prevailing culture to think that women are hard workers. In some other cases, you have women go to the farms. So we can talk about rapes. So the only thing the man does is, yes, the man gets the farm portion and he gets his cutlass or his machete, he goes clear the bush for the woman and her children to farm. So under those peasant environments, the woman provides the food. And you discover that if you take stock of farming settlements, you have more of women farming large-scale farmlands and contributing to the national food basket. Okay, there are more women than men doing all of that. So in those communities, it would seem like an aberration of the norm to say this woman should go to school. So if all the women and the girl children who will become women are made to go to school, who will farm our farmlands? Who will provide fish? Who will back our children? I discovered that it's a peasant mentality that has slowed investment in the girl child education. Okay, that is aside the cases of insecurity, the recent cases of kidnapping, and the rest of them. So we need to break that cultural jinx for there to be any form of advancement in investment in that area. I remember a certain minister for education, precisely Professor Rukiatu Rufai, who decided to take a census of girl children. I think her own investment and interest was let's see how we can boost enrollment of girl children, especially in the north and other parts of Nigeria. And after she left, I don't know how much work has been invested in that area, but I think it's a critical area for us to look at. Hey, we've got a lot of females who are becoming professors today. What encouragement can we give to them?
I just even want to, I would like to ask a follow-up to that. I mean, we've talked about the rural area, but we are seeing scenarios even in urban cities where, of course, you would consider, it's a bit civilized, where young people or people get married and then the husband tells the wife, you know what, you have to stop school. There's no advancement in education anymore. There's no career path anymore. You stop and your only role is just to be a housewife, right? And these are very learned people. So, I mean, how do you balance all of that and still comprehend that with the level of education, so to speak, or enlightenment, we still have these issues crop up?
Now, we think we're very cultural people, right? And stemming from our backgrounds, we realize that most men want to marry downwards, not upwards. So
how do you mean?
The average man will be intimidated by a wife who earns more than him. You can't be a cleaner in a company and your wife is the CEO. He'll be intimidated. He'll feel intimidated, which is why, socially speaking, a lot of men feel somewhat less attracted towards women who are career high flyers. So the cultural setting has infringed on our liberality. And so a lot of men would not want, I want to stop at a first degree. How can I marry a woman who wants to aspire to become a professor? Automatically, Mr. and Professor Mrs. doesn't really add up. I don't know how many of such names you see. You could see Professor and Dr. Mrs. You could see Mr. and Mrs. You could see Doctor and Mrs. You could see Doctor and Dr. Mrs. at most. But how often do you see Doctor and Professor Mrs.? So they feel somewhat intimidated by the titling, and they feel, look, this woman will be too much of a hunch on my back. So why don't I slow her down? Why don't I slow things down? So it's not just in education. Okay, it's also in a career. So a man would scarcely want a woman in this setting, though, in this peasant kind of thinking, that earns more than him, because he feels if she earns more than him, she's going to intimidate him. She's going to seem too much like the breadwinner. He wouldn't control her, because it's a mindset of control rather than influence. So I think we can correct that, especially in the cities. But then the background is still with the prevailing culture. Okay, so where we can fix the culture by getting more women to go into school, over time, it's going to take time. Over time, we'll begin to trail and troll the advanced societies where women should be given room to express themselves.
Wow. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, for your analysis of this particular topic. Once again, thank you so much. Well, good.
Thank you.